Okay, awesome. Well, welcome everybody. My name is Crystal Eckford, and I'm here at the Grokker headquarters in San Jose, California. I'm really excited to be here today with Dr. Elizabeth Milovidov. Today's session, as you know, will be focused on mental health online. So staying safe and positive with AI, misinformation, and social media. So a pretty unique and cool topic that I know is of interest to a lot of people. So I'll give you a quick introduction here to Dr. Elizabeth before I pass it over to her. If you want to share your perfect. So Dr. Elizabeth here is our Grokker expert. You may have seen her programming on Grokker. She has a digital parenting program that's awesome. She's an international speaker, writer, and leader on internet safety issues and digital parenting. So that niche space that we're all excited to hear about. She's the author of several publications and co-authored the Internet Literacy Handbook and Digital Citizenship Education Handbook. So I know that it's not a topic that a lot of us have as much expertise on. So really excited to hear from you. She's on both sides of the pond here, so a graduate of UCLA and UC Davis, but she does currently live in Europe right now where she earned her PhD. And I know I saw a lot of people on the call from Europe and the UK as well as California too. So both sides of your experience. So with that, I'll go ahead and pass it over to you, Dr. Elizabeth. We're really excited to have you today.
Oh my gosh, no, I think I'm more excited. This is always so much fun. So I wanted to say thank you everyone for joining me. To please don't forget to throw in your questions because we're going to try to answer as much as we can for you. And also to remind you that I do have a digital parenting community, a Facebook group, so you can come in there and also ask me questions as well. So let's get going here. I'm trying to be conscious of time so I can get in your questions.
Sorry, I was so excited to introduce you. I forgot one key.
Yeah, go for it. Go for it. Yeah.
For the Q&A, folks, we have both the chat and the Q&A open. But we would recommend if you can put any questions for Dr. Elizabeth into the actual Q&A. We will be doing a live Q&A at the end, and having your questions in there will help her to be able to categorize, what's being most commonly asked. You can upvote other people's questions too if you see things you're interested in. And let's try to leave the chat to any kind of other interaction you want to have here today, but that way we make sure we don't miss any questions.
Yeah, that's just perfect. And I was also going to add that in the chat, because you've all put in where you're calling in from, it would be also awesome if you do have children and you put in their ages, just so I'll have an idea as well. But otherwise, this is going to be very much open to anyone and to these topics and issues of being online. So, oh my goodness, I just went click, and it went so quickly. So let me tell you what we're going to be talking about, just some of the new technologies and their effect on mental health. And obviously, we're going to talk about some of the positive and negative effects, because the most important part here is how to protect and promote your mental health online. I mean, we all know what's happening. We're online more and more, whether it's work or social or communicating with friends or our children. It just has kind of taken over. And since the pandemic, really, I think we have all seen the benefits of technology, but it is so crucial that we step back and say, okay, let's get control of some of this. Let's put our critical thinking caps on, and let's make sure that we get the honest to goodness best use possible out of all of it. So just some quick examples of new technology. This reminds me of screens. People always say, but what's screen time and what counts? Well, everything counts for screen time, whether you're talking about, even looking at your Apple Watch or sitting in a waiting room and looking at a screen there. It's kind of the same thing when we're talking about technology and new technology, because there are so many fabulous things that are coming out that are new and quick and exciting. So I'm sure you've heard of blockchain, the metaverse. And don't be fooled with the metaverse, okay? Because no one really knows what it is, although it just sounds so cool. Virtual reality, I don't know if you've seen any of the commercials for foldable displays for telephones. They look really cool. Nano robotics, they've been around for a little while, little tiny robots. Artificial intelligence, right? Also has been around for a while, but probably the new thing that you're hearing the most about is generative AI. And this is the artificial intelligence that will generate responses. You've most likely heard of ChatGPT, which came out last November and has just taken the world by storm. Augmented reality, virtual reality, again, augmented reality, we've seen this, we've heard of this. If you remember things like Pokemon Go, we have, I mean, this technology exists, and we've seen it being used for fighter pilots, plane simulations, all sorts of wonderful things like this, right? And 5G cellular technology, we're just going so quickly. Cryptocurrency, please don't ask me anything about cryptocurrency. I am not an expert, and I see there's already a blockchain question. Oh, I've got nothing to say. It seems to be more secure. Sure. Let's just wait and see for all of these types of technology. I think that the most crucial point that I can make for everything that we hear, including blockchain, is, and definitely cryptocurrency, is critical thinking. Do your research. Do your research into the benefits, your research into the hoaxes, the false information that's out there. If you see influencers and social media people talking about how great this new cryptocurrency is, or I've just bought shares in this blockchain company, do your research. So let's keep going. And new technologies and the impact on mental health, right? So they obviously are impacting our feelings about the online world and our trust in online spaces. And you know what? I've just realized I've gotten so far ahead. This is the funniest thing ever, because we're just going. And I had a little quick poll for you. And so, Chris, I don't know if you're still there, but if you just pull up one of the questions, it would be great. And if not, I'll just keep going. Yay, there we go. So I would love just to see where we are with what you're thinking about some of this technology. So here we go. You've just read or seen something that disturbed you online. What is your normal response? So you only get one answer, right? So I know you might do all of these things, but only one. Do you just say, I'm going to continue scrolling, no biggie? Do you start doing research on what you read or saw? You're like, oh, that was really disturbing. Do you just put down your device and say, I do not need this today? Or do you engage in an activity that makes you feel better? So go ahead, please. Vote. I can't vote, but I'll tell you what I think in just a second. So is the voting coming in? I'll give you a few seconds really quickly. Come on. And Chris, whenever you're ready, you can go ahead and show the answers. Oh, very interesting. I really like this. Okay, so you can see for yourselves that 41% of you are doing research on what you read or saw. Obviously, ding, ding, that would be my first response, especially because these things stay in your mind. They really do. If you continue scrolling, it's in the back of your mind. If you put down your device, it's in the back of your mind. If you're engaging in something else that makes you feel better, it's still in the back of your mind. Do a little bit of research. Is it true? Is it false? Oh gosh, not at all. Well, then, it's gone. If it does turn out to be absolutely true, well, then, we are going to put down our device. We're going to engage in something that makes us feel a bit better. Okay, not bad. Let's do another one really quickly. While we're waiting, and while we're waiting, I'm looking and seeing all of the children. We've got everything from babies to young adults. This is fabulous. Okay, so let's talk about AI, artificial intelligence. That was the prompt that got me remembering that we had this fabulous poll. So you've heard about all the wonderful things that AI can do, and you started writing a report for work. I'm saying a report for work. If you're younger and you're listening to this, okay, you can say some school homework as you want. And you're basing your work on some of these detailed answers that OpenAI has provided for you. And so what's your response? Are you going to continue writing the report? But you created the question, so you own the answers. Are you going to continue writing the report, but you'll fact check all the information at the end? Sounding good, right? You're only going to use AI, OpenAI for brainstorming. You're going to continue writing the report, but without copying and pasting any information. You are going to absolutely just stop writing the report, because you know that you are infringing on the intellectual property of the true authors who own that data used by OpenAI. What do you think? Oh, Chris, no worries. I know it takes a second to switch polls. I'm with you. Takes me a second to read them. Okay, so get in your answers there. Age requirement was with the questions on the Q&A. Age requirement, so this is me just asking ages. There wasn't an actual age requirement here. How's it looking, Chris? Whenever you want to flip up, that's absolutely fine for me. Woohoo! Okay. Not, I love this. It just goes to show, that everybody has sort of a different viewpoint of what's going on. So I'm great. I'm really just super excited that you've asked these questions, because right now you can see the 2% saying, hey, you created the questions, you own the answers. Kind of not true, but you have to look at the terms and conditions of what's in OpenAI and what they're saying. You're infringing on the intellectual property of the true authors who own the data. Also, very true. But you know what? We can continue brainstorming. We can just use this, getting ideas like with Wikipedia, Google, et cetera. We can just, generate some ideas of generative AI, and please, yeah, definitely fact check. I don't know how many of you saw, there were a few lawyers in the United States who used ChatGPT to write their motions and briefs, and what a catastrophe. They didn't fact check, and ChatGPT kind of makes things up sometimes and just created cases and case laws. So again, this critical thinking is what we're talking about. Okay, thanks so much, Chris. I think I'm going to perhaps wait a second. What do you think? Should we do some more? I only have 2 more. You know what, let's do some more. I just want to see where you're at. I know you're all sitting there going, okay, she's acting like she can really hear us. Okay, so social media, you've seen the most amazing statistics and perspective in your social media feed. Amazing, okay? And amazing like, oh my gosh, I can't believe this, or amazing like, this is so horrifically crazy, I can't believe this. Doesn't matter, you choose. What's the first thing you're gonna do? You're gonna share this amazing news with your friends and family. You won't believe this, look. You're going to repost it and add your own commentary. I read this today and I just cannot believe blah, blah. I'm going to say that is amazing. Those statistics sound pretty cool, but let me do a little bit more research. I think you know where I'm going, right? The last one, nothing. You're just going to continue scrolling. There are so many amazing things that come up in your social media feeds today that if you, stopped and did research about everything, you would never get through your social media feeds. So what are the answers here? And again, I think you all know this is me just getting you to think, yeah, of course, research to learn more, repost, adding your own commentary. Okay, I like this person. I like it. Going against the grain, the what do we call it? The contrarian. Share this amazing news with friends and family. Sure, you can share it, but just make sure you say, not quite sure what the validity is on this. Would you believe in the United States that the largest statistic of people who are sharing fake news are, I believe, over 60? So it just goes to show people. Nothing, continue scrolling, sure. Yeah, if it's amazing and it's not going to affect you, why not? Just move on. Okay, one last one, and then I'm gonna keep going with our webinar. Here we go. And let's see, this is great that I'm seeing so many people have 27-year-old daughter from Crystal, 25-year-old daughter Joshua, and then younger kids. Last one, I'm sure you're going to be thinking about this. You can also think about this as for your children or for yourself and work, because cyberbullying affects everyone. Your colleague shows you a vile, hurtful online message that they received on their favorite social media platform. They said this is the fifth message that they've received from this person. What's your response? Well, gosh, this is cyberbullying. You're going to support your colleagues, you're going to report the message. This isn't cyberbullying, but someone is just being a jerk and you're just going to say, ignore it. There's just no reason to get into it. This isn't cyberbullying because it hasn't been repeated over a long enough period of time. And the last response, this is cyberbullying because one hurtful message is enough. Ooh. This is cyberbullying. Support your colleague, report the message. This isn't cyberbullying with someone just being a jerk. And oh, that's really interesting that no one said that because it hasn't been a long enough period of time. Really interesting. I'm choking, sorry. This is cyberbullying because one hurtful message is enough. Okay, so the actual deal is that cyberbullying is repeated, right? It is repeated activities. It doesn't matter if we're saying, 3, 5, etc. It is true that one hurtful message is quite hurtful. That could be a mistake, in which case somebody is going to say, oh my gosh, that's not what I meant. It was a typo, etc. So cyberbullying has strict definitions, and there's so many different laws, especially in the United States, about what is cyberbullying and what are the penalties. But the first one, that this is cyberbullying, yeah, like I said, I would say hurtful messages, on an electronic platform, social media, online video games, doesn't matter. You're going to support your colleague, you're going to report the message. You can report any type of hateful messages, even if it's just one. You can report that on a social media platform, on a gaming platform. Please, please go and look at some of the safety centers for these platforms. That is why they're there, to help you out, to respond to your requests and to provide support. Everyone says, oh, the tech companies are doing all of these things. They're just trying to keep our attention. Sure, sure, and maybe they are profit maximizers, but let's also realize that they do provide safety centers, providing techniques for your well-being, for your safety, what to do in the event of cyberbullying, but it's for you to go and dig them out and find them. Okay, so that was enough of just, trying to place where you are and what you're all thinking, and for you to see what other people are thinking. So here we go. So we're talking about how do new technologies, do they impact our feelings about the world and just our trust in online spaces? I think it goes without saying that misinformation, without getting into any sort of details, whether we're talking political misinformation, medical misinformation about the latest, greatest medical invention or negative connotations, social issues as well. Sometimes we just don't know what is true, what is false. Then again, if we're looking at Chat GPT, again, generative AI, is it truthful? Is the information accurate? Is it providing misinformation? I think you already have some clues there, because I had mentioned earlier about the lawyers filing briefs that just, was not accurate, was not truthful, and also contained misinformation. What about wearable devices? Again, I'm with my wonderful Apple Watch. There are all sorts of other things. There's Fitbits. There are all sorts of trackers now. I've seen the wonderful rings to track your sleep. There are even trackers for children. There are connected diapers. There are connected pacifiers. Yes, pacifiers, that you put in your mouth and that for the child. And if they lose their pacifier, it's connected to an app so you can find the alert. What about all of these types of, wearable devices? What about the tracking there? What about support? What is there an effect on mental health? Perhaps not for the connected diaper, the baby that's wearing the diaper, but what about for the parent who keeps checking that app to see what's going on? Again, as I said, sometimes we don't always see, we think it's so innocent and so convenient having technology around us that we're not thinking about some of the repercussions. AR and VR, right? An interactive and immersive experience. How do we feel when we are in the experience? Are we dizzy? What about when we shut down? Do we have headaches? These are all things that, again, that we have to think about. I don't have in here some of the things like smart home devices, but, again, it's part of new technologies. So things that you have in your own home, whether you have a smart device where people can, where you can hear people, where you can make requests. What happens when guests come into your home and Alexa is listening, or your Google Home device is listening? Do you let them know that you have the device? These are all things to think about. So I think I should probably go a little bit faster. I'm just getting so excited with my topic. Yes, will work burnout be talked about during this webinar? Joined so late. No, I will be talking about just, mental health in general, but it is definitely true that we are burning out because of our reliance upon technology. So in that aspect, yes, I'll be mentioning it. But let's take a peek about some of the positive effects of technology. So we know, there are therapeutic applications, educational, there are all sorts of wonderful things where we have access to information. And I'm not talking about, Dr. Google, where it starts off really great. And then we go down that pitfall of saying, oh my gosh, that something's going wrong. That can take us over to the negative effects. But social connections, entertainment, the list it goes on. I would love to just see in the chat, if you just answer for me really quickly, how many of you have used, for example, like a meditation app or a Headspace app? Just go in and put yes, yes in the chat for me. Or if you use anything to, calm you down, meditation app. Thank you, Sharon. Oh, the one no. Okay, Doris, that's really fantastic. Yes, Grokr. Thank you, James. I completely forgot about all the wonderful things that you have on Grokr. Demetra says yes every day. Giovanna, Calm. I have heard about Calm. Hinson says no. Yeah, it depends. For all of you who said no, I would, say give it a try just to see. And if not for yourself, for some of the people that are around you, your family members, because it is really, I think you mean Headspace, yeah. Thanks, Sangeeta. I was thinking Spacehead. Was that a movie? That was Spaceballs. But yeah, so relaxation, stress relief, positive stimulation. There are some fantastic uses, but again, within balance, within limits. We can't just go overboard, because I think we could all say that if we listened to Grokker 24 hours a day, that we would probably be a little bit every day is awesome. Thank you. And yes, exactly. Prayer and Grokker, prayer is just an effective meditation as well, right? So it's just wonderful, no matter what you call it, however you use it, anything that helps connect you, keeps you grounded, it really does work for me. Okay, so yeah, Simon says yes. So unfortunately, we do have some of the negative effects, right? So unfortunately, when we're using technology so much, we are feeling isolated because we're just here on a screen. I don't know how many of you are sitting in a cubby hole or in a room or in your car just listening to me right now. There's increased anxiety, there's increased stress because, we have notifications all the time. There's always something to do. There's always more that we can do. We carry our smartphones with us. This also goes to that work burnout, right? Would you believe, I'm sitting here in London, but before, when I lived in France, lived there for 28 years, they created a law just a few years ago that you could not send workers emails after 5 p.m. or on the weekend. That was it. You were not allowed to communicate with them. How wild is that, right? So you don't get these constant notifications. You aren't feeling that stress. So those of you, take a look at that law. It's very interesting. It might be something that you could apply for your own work teams, and suggest this in your own company and say, hey, why don't we make this a rule? Or something that I've seen, I also work at the Lego group. It's something that we see often. We do a meet-free Friday, where we don't do any online meetings. And that's also a nice way to have a break and to step back. Yeah, June says, I would love that. I know, right? Can you imagine no emails after 5? It's just wonderful. So yeah, I just see bystanders. Oh, I didn't see what the other message that came in here, but I do agree bystanders should definitely report. Bystanders are also affected as well by any sort of cyberbullying. It's not just the person who is bullying, because let's face it, if this is your own child, I want you to know they can bully. It's the behavior, not the child, right? Then we have the person who receives the bullying, the victim, and then the bystanders, and they also are more affected than you would think. So anyone who sees anything that is nasty, snarky, report it, and also take care of your own mental health. FOMO, oh my gosh, how many times do we talk about FOMO? Fear of missing out, right? Everybody's like, oh my gosh, I hope everybody's thinking, I'm not on that webinar with Elizabeth, I am just missing out, but I'll watch it again. Physical problems, sleep, physical inactivity, we know this, right? We also see this when there is too much technology for you or for your children. You should think about things like, am I getting enough sleep? Am I eating well enough? Doing well in school or doing well at work, having a good relationship with my friends and family, having a good relationship with my devices. If you start having a problem with some of those things, then really you're obviously having problems with the negative effects of technology. There is no shame in seeking out help. There are lots of Grokker experts who you can do one-on-ones, you can, read some of the materials, take their courses. Decreased attention span, of course, we're sitting here all the time. Do you know how long it takes when you're working and someone comes and taps on your shoulder, asks you a question, and then you have to get back and concentrate? All of these things decrease our attention spans. Again, with the notifications on your phone, one way is to turn them off. Put your phone in grayscale instead of all the wonderful, colorful uses that you have. Problematic use, negative experiences. Again, we can say it too many times about cyberbullying, misinformation, fake news, online scams, phishing. People are trying to get your information. I mean, it's technology is there. It's open to everyone, anyone who has access to internet. And unfortunately, there are some bad actors who want, to scam you and get your information. But what we want to talk about is, how are you going to protect and promote your mental health? And I'm going as quickly because I think you all have a great idea about, positive and negative, but really what you need to know is how to continue to protect your mental health, how to promote your mental health, not just for you, but for your family, for those around you. Because I mean, when everybody is feeling great and using technology together, getting off together, having instead of a family movie night, having a board game night, or just getting some outside, getting some more physical activities. I mean, this is just fantastic. So one of the things, the first is also just being mindful, being self-reflective, not only how you feel when you do various things online, but how do you feel when you're offline, and really think about these things so you can promote the things that make you feel good online and offline. So don't think that I'm just saying, oh, get offline. So I'm not. But the things that make you feel good online and offline, those are the things that you do more of. It is so easy for us to just fall down a rabbit hole of technology, of the convenience of it, that we forget that we are the ones. The technology is a tool, and we can click the button, we can put pause, we can say off. Okay, joining some of those positive spaces. There are fabulous online communities. There are fabulous places where you can go and have great social connections. Great social connections. Great chats where you can speak with people that are like-minded or not like-minded, and have really great conversations, discussions that don't go into sort of the negative stuff, but really just to sort of get your mind lit up on all these great ideas. Engaging constructively, helpfully with other people. I think that one thing you need to always think about is that if something triggers a negative reaction, you don't have to engage. I know so many times people are like, oh my gosh, did you see what they wrote? I've got to jump in. You don't need to add your 2 cents to the conversation. You really, really don't. And sometimes you can just walk away. This is really not necessary. Another thing, as I say this, I want you to think about your digital footprints. The fact that everything that you type, even something as silly as a poop emoji, that's right, I said it, a poop emoji. When you put these things online and out there, they're in your social media accounts. You just download your archive. You can see for yourself what day, what time that you use poop emojis. And it's just like, come on, really? So think about all of these things, because this information is out there and it stays out there, and you don't want to be that person. And also when you're talking with your children, your younger adults, I mean, they can be anything. And, when you kind of step into that person that you've created online, offline, you can really shine so that you can use technology to promote those positive things as well. Being critical, I think the most important thing I can ever say is critical thinking. To really think about these things, about what you're doing, what you're putting out there, being self-aware. We are just consumers of information, and there is so much out there. I'm sure many of you have seen that meme about, getting information from internet is like, drinking water from a fire hose, right? And it's so true. And even memes, the idea that there's these things that we say, do, it becomes a little funny thing, and all of a sudden it's viral. I mean, these are all new things just out there in that whole information space. Please, again, I think the most important thing about any sort of promoting mental health is, just like with physical health, just like with anything, to be healthy, get help, get support. There is no shame of saying, oh my gosh, I am close to a work burnout here. I can feel it. Get a little bit of support. Talk with colleagues. Look to see what you have online. And so I'm just seeing a couple of questions. Also, just to remind you, you can put the questions in the chat, but I see them because they're popping up. Alberto is talking about how to regain attention and focus to increase an environment that constantly demands multitasking and that creates loose ends and productivity and efficiency. You already know the answer because you see the bad effects here, right? This is the negative stuff that we don't want, those loose ends. We're being really inefficient. So you need to focus your time. Again, there is technology, ironically enough, technology that can help you do that. So when you're on your computer screen, you can just use one screen, right? You turn off your notifications. You can use the Pomodoro technique, which can help you set 20, 25 minutes for doing a task. So that way you can then take a break, look around. Don't forget to rest your eyes, because that's so important as well. Small, quick little aside. We are becoming a more nearsighted, a more myopic society because of these screens. So protect your eyes, think about blue screens, think about your eyeglasses to getting them really protections for the computer, all of these things to promote better health when you're online. Let me see, let me go to the next one. Yeah, it's important. This is the world how it is. We can just love on people, and we have to be kind. We really, really do. Focus mate, I love this. Okay, match with another person, make each other accountable. Find your ways, and these are some great ideas. I think that if you're seeing people that are in your same communities, check with them and connect with people here in this conversation and say, hey, let's talk about this afterwards. You had some great ideas in the chat. I think something that is so crucial is to, and I'm watching the time here, is to schedule some regular digital detoxes to really take the time to step away. Well, and if you can't do it, then, because of for a whole day, for a whole weekend, for a whole week, that would be awesome. What about an evening? Try just an evening. Get the whole family. Take a picnic basket or a bowl, I don't care, and put all those smartphones in there and say, that's it, let's leave them there. I'm sure you've probably seen this, people having lunch during this, where they all put their smartphones in the center, stack them up, and the person who reaches for their phone first has to pay for lunch or for dinner. I mean, there are ways for you to really make it enjoyable and fun and take a moment back to regain those true connections by deconnecting. Curating your feed is something that is that you probably don't even think about. Looking at those social media accounts, believe it or not, whether you're on TikTok or Instagram, whatever you're looking at, there are ways for you to just click on there and you don't have to see the same content. So I can't go through every single social media platform, but really understand that you can say, I don't want to see this anymore. And the algorithm will stop sending you stuff like that. You can have a super positive feed. Let me give you a small example that's kind of crazy. There was a parent who wanted to have their child on TikTok, but knew that TikTok is not for under 13s. And so they created a family account watching TikTok videos together, like Disney, and really curated the feed so the algorithm knew to only show this type of positive content. By the time her daughter was 13, she was able to, let her have this channel feed by herself for the most part, because it was already curated. The algorithms knew, right? My son was looking at what my TikTok, he goes, Mommy, yours is so positive. You're looking at kittens and puppies, and because that's what I'm looking at in magicians, life magicians. Limit your notifications. I've mentioned that, and I can't keep saying it enough. Even as I'm looking at the screen and I see a little red button telling me I've got 2 questions. I mean, it's always there, right? There's always something pulling your attention, but do limit them. Use grayscale. If you're on an iPhone, you have to figure out how to configure it, but you can just go into your settings. At one point, you can just click 3 times the little side button and your whole screen will go black and white. I promise you, it is so boring, so dry that you will not be sitting there, picking it up all the time. Don't forget, the average adult is picking up their phone how many times? Can't even remember. It's like such a crazy number, right? Establishing boundaries and screen balance guidance. Really, we need this all the time. You have to have some boundaries. When we're talking about work, as June had said that she really liked that idea, that's just establishing boundaries. When you finish work, right? It's the same thing about, I'm sure so many of you no longer have home phones because we just use our smartphones for that. I've even said I can't, me too, I don't have one. And I've just said that when we move, we are going to get a home phone because I really want, again, to have a phone that's a family phone where it's like, wait a minute, I'll go get that person for you. I know, right? Totally old school. But just imagine the conversations that that's going to make. Engaging in creative activities offline, always. We've had such a time post-pandemic that we now know we're all so thrilled to get outside. I think that's going to continue for a while. And I think we really need to take advantage of it. So, oh my gosh, I sped us through. I got us through there. So that way we have a few minutes left. Woo, I'm so proud of myself. Okay, so let me take a peek at some of my questions. And I did already talk about the blockchain question. And let me stop sharing here. I did talk about the burnout, but I do want to mention some more about the burnout because really, I think this is really important. I hear a lot of things about burnout for children, right? Because I usually focus more on digital parents, digital families. But this is the same thing. If you are a digital user, you need to do as much as you protect your children, you need to protect yourself. And that is including work environment and including those, those types of things where you set a certain amount of time for when you're going to be online. You're going to answer emails twice a day, let's say once at 11, once at 4. That's it, right? You can really begin as you mean to go on and just come up with some new rules because we all need this. We all need this type of break. I would also ask right now, if anybody has a specific thing that works for them on work burnout, to please throw it in the chat because I've seen that you've been sharing lots of great ideas. So please talk about that. Oh, look at this. I'm seeing some of them about regaining attention and focus. Yes, Getting Things Done is a great book. I do like that one. So just keep throwing these ideas in here so that way everyone can share. Oh, you're quite welcome. Alexander is saying thank you. Yeah, I was trying to make it so kind of broad and specific, but I really want you to know that really, first of all, you can do this. You can protect your mental health. You have to be aware of it. You have to be aware that there's an issue already. The fact that you've shown up at this webinar, that you are interested in these topics, which go beyond misinformation and AI. We all have to do more to be positive online, to create positive spaces, to create positive communities. And the best part is that we really can do this. So are you throwing things in the chat? I'm not seeing it like scroll up. I don't know. Okay, well, I'm going to keep answering. I'm looking at my questions because people are talking to me there. So Crystal's saying she gets out and does a daily distress walk. Thank you. I know, right? It's just amazing how we forget about these things. Oh, and please let me tell you one other thing. Don't forget about breathing. Oh my goodness. Breathing in through your nose, out through your mouth, right? Do that like 6 times. It just brings down levels. It's absolutely true fact. And in fact, I'm going to say it's an amazing statistic. So that way you'll go and do research about it yourself. But looking at how breathing can help decrease your blood pressure, it just slows things down. Why do you think everybody is doing yoga and meditation? And, it's just breathing. So please check that out for me. Sharon, thank you so much. This is a great question. And I've seen this question a lot. Sharon is saying, where can I learn about helping my parents be safe online? It is so true that helping the, I won't say elderly community because I'm kind of getting there myself, but helping people who are not used to technology. Yeah, that sounds much better. And helping our parents. First of all, we have to speak with them the same way that you're talking with younger children. You need to just let them know they're not children, of course, but you need to let them know, hey, the reason why bad actors are out there is that they're able to scam anyone who's going through something quickly, who believes something online. And you're not saying, mom and dad, that you're gullible, but it's just that technology, things look so real. The other thing that I would love for you to do is to get online and look at some of the things like deep fakes and look at things that say, is it AI? Is it true or false? You can barely tell. And if you show something like that to your parents, they will understand that it's not because they're a little bit older. It's not because they don't use technology. It's just that these things look real. They are designed to fool you. I don't want to start scaring you about AI, but I'm sure you've heard about some of the stories where people hear a recording and it sounds like their daughter is saying, help, I'm in trouble. And it sounds exactly like their daughter, but it's not their daughter. I mean, we just all have to sit there and realize this stuff is going very, very quickly. But think back to when we were younger and our parents were saying, oh my gosh, you're a couch potato, you're watching TV, what's going to happen, etc. I know I watched way too many episodes of Gilligan's Island when I was a child, but I'm relatively okay. I'm just saying that with balance and understanding these things, we can take care of them. So again, Sharon, with your parents, there also, you can look online. I love that show. Exactly, right? With your parents, you can look online. You can also just put online safety for grandparents, and you will find things. I know the Family Online Safety Institute does have things for grandparents. I know because I've written some things for them as well. But I think it's a wonderful initiative, especially for things like phishing and online scams. Oh, little quick tip for everyone. When you get something on your phone, that is usually where a lot of these scams happen because it looks official and it'll say, for example, I don't know, I'm just going to make up something, General Electric, right? But if you're on your phone, it looks like it says General Electric. But if you click on General Electric, the title, you'll see the email address is AB666 whatever, phishingscam.com. And it's like, oh, wow, I wouldn't have known because all I saw was General Electric. These things are a bit easier to see on your computers, especially because they end up in your junk mail on your smartphones. Sometimes they do, sometimes they don't. But it's always just stopping and thinking, am I moving too fast? Am I clicking too fast? Those are some of the best ways to stay cyber safe. Got a couple more questions. I've stopped on social media because relatives are posting political viewpoints and attitudes. Yeah, lots of people are just out there, and we're having a real difference here with I won't say right and left or anything like that, but there's a real difference. And I think that we have to get more connected, to speak together again, and get that critical thinking of not always wondering, is it true, is it false? Let's talk about this together and not just take something as face value. Hinson, I love this running or going to the gym. Oh my gosh, I wish I had a running partner or a gym partner. I really need to do something. Because I think it's just so important that we all get out there. But I can do the walking. I've got the little doggies now too. I'm looking at all this physical exercise, Dimitro. I'm so happy. So gymming, biking. Alexandra is talking about limiting or deleting some social media. Yes, please. I know it is very hard and it does work. But I think this is like dieting, people. If you want to have a healthy lifestyle, and I'm not going to say diet, I'm going to say eat healthy, then you reduce the things that make you feel badly, right? You all know that if you overindulge, whether you eat something that's greasy, too sweet, alcoholic, whatever, and you feel horrible, well, then what are you going to do next time? You're going to do less of that. You're going to limit it. You're going to figure out ways to manage. Alberto's talking about maintaining an agenda, scheduling time off. Thank you. Oh, Alberto, bless you. Scheduling is so important. The same person who was talking about that burnout, as you're scheduling things to do, you also schedule things for your not to do, meaning your to do not, or your offline activities, you know what I mean? So you're going to schedule sleep on the sofa in the afternoon. That's right, you heard me, I told you. You're gonna schedule things like that. Take a walk in the park, go skipping with my child, okay? Schedule these things and that way you do them. It's really a fabulous way to take those breaks. I love it. Singing, making a short walk, no laptop at home after 6 p.m. Go, Carlos. That is wonderful. And that 6:45 riding your bicycle, I love it. Maybe I should get a bicycle instead of running. Yeah, that'd probably be better. It's way cooler. Recently read that cleaning, believe it or not, is a form of meditation. Of course it is. I've read that as well, because it's that sort of methodical, you're doing the same thing, repetition. And it's like, I have to admit, I do like washing dishes. I don't like drying them, which is very strange, but I do like washing. Again, hitting the gym, therapeutic, form of meditation. We made our home a text-free zone. Awesome, Greg. This is like the best way to create that digital detox environment, is creating a text-free zone. When friends come over, I have them give me their phones. Yes, if they felt compelled to text, they can go outside to text. That's right, just like a cigarette, go outside to smoke, or better yet, don't bring the cigarette in my house. It helps convey the idea that they were not spending time with our family if they were texting someone else. That's right, Greg, because your family sounds boss. So your last name is Noss and your family is Boss. So that's a great rule. Look, Lori agrees with me. Alexandra as well. Susan says, love washing dishes. Look at this. We're going to have a washing dish fest. This is so awesome. Sounds like I missed the call. No laptop after 6 p.m. Here it is 7:45. So I probably need to log up. Oh no, Eve, no, not yet. Okay, so I don't know how I'm doing on time. I don't know if we have more questions. If you do, please put them in the chat. Be in the now, Anna. Oh my gosh, right? The power of now. We used to talk this way. We used to act this way. And I think we've kind of forgot it because we're so busy with technology and tech and answering that next call and answering that next email. Yoga for sure is awesome. I did say that I was going to get my yoga back on, I have to admit, because I felt really awesome. I don't know why. What's that one pose? Warrior pose. I just feel like could take on the world. Crocheting, Mo, I'm kind of laughing because believe it or not, I did buy a crochet kit with all the 10 little needles of different sizes, but I just haven't had a chance to do that yet. So, but all of these are awesome. 10 minutes a day, 10 minutes every morning, Ines. Okay, I like that a lot. That's doable. Thank you. I appreciate the doable suggestions. This is just fabulous. But I'm going to ask you one more question before Chris comes on and tells me I've got to come up. That's right. It is doable. This is the thing, right? When we're talking about making some of these positive changes to promote mental health, pick doable activities. Pick things that you like. Pick, do little small bite-sized portions of them. And that's just the way to go. I was going to say before Chris comes in and tells me, cut, it's time for me to get off. What about some online things? What about some technology, like a app that you use to help you with technology? So for example, we mentioned Headspace for meditation. Are there any, or Pomodoro, I mentioned Pomodoro app. I'm not promoting any of these apps. I think most of them are free anyway, but is there anything that you use that you have found helps you increase your efficiency, helps you stay focused, helps you stay positive? If there is, go ahead and throw it in the chat. And yes, Headspace is free, I believe, for just a general account. And after that, I think you have to pay. But and Calm, thank you, Sharon. Yes, you mentioned Calm. Grok app, there's so many different things in there, so you guys can dig in there. Alexandra, come run with me. These two runners are just awesome people. Crystal, what do you have? What do you do to stay to promote all of your positivity?
Oh, well, one of my favorites, which you've already been talking about a lot, and this is a totally shameless cracker plug, but I love the Pomodoro timers. So the time blocking and the Pomodoro timers. And we actually, Chris's team actually, if I could speak, released music on Grokr recently. So there's soundtracks for your workday. So there's a 20-minute one, a 50-minute one, and it helps with that kind of just that background music. And when that time is up, okay, now I'm moving to my next block, take 5 minutes to get a snack, get a drink, whatever it might be. So I love the Pomodoro method for sure.
Yay. And now I learned something new too about the music. Old style reading a book or comics. I know it, Eve. I'm right there with you. And Rachna put this in the question and answer saying that she feels that recalling memories is easier on her phone. And that she tends to forget being present. So she's working on deleting social media over the weekend and doing a tech detox. So I think that I am so excited that everybody's thinking digital detox is tech detox, bite-sized portions. Do what you can. Do what you can.
Yeah, awesome. Well, I was taking a look at some of the questions that were submitted before the webinar and the registrations. And to be honest, I think you answered most of them. So we had some themes going on. And I think you really spoke to a lot of what was answered, or what was asked rather, in the pre-registration questions. So
fantastic.
We got most of people's questions answered. So I just wanted to kind of wrap up and thank you so much for your time today. And I loved everybody's engaging dialogue too.
They make it so much fun, Crystal. I swear, it's like they rock. Look at Coley is still talking about well-being apps on Samsung. Anna's talking about podcasts. I mean, it's just awesome. Thank you, Lois and Adriana. Anytime, come back to Grokr and hang out with us.
Yes, absolutely. I know.
Yes, the recording will be available, Eve. Yeah. What did you say, Crystal?
I was just saying it makes it so engaging to be able to connect with each other while they also get to hear from you. So thank you everybody for participating so much. And thank you, Dr. Elizabeth. It was a great session. For anybody who wants to recommend this session to others, we will have the recording posted on Grokr, so you can direct this to your friends and family. And then, as we mentioned at the beginning, Dr. Elizabeth does have a digital parenting program on Grokr. So if you're looking for something more geared towards supporting your children of all different types of ages, you can check that out as well.
Yeah, and if you come over and you make comments in there, I do answer. So come and talk to me.
Awesome. Well, thank you so much, everyone. And thank you for being here, Dr. Elizabeth. It was great to have you.
No problem. Thank you, everyone. Thank you so much.